The observation deck of the Stellar Covenant hummed with the quiet efficiency of a dozen alien species working in uneasy harmony. Commander Aliana Chen sat cross-legged on the floor, her back against the viewport, while a small human child named James slept peacefully on her chest, his tiny hand clutching her uniform collar. The Vrex delegation stood frozen at the entrance, their scaled bodies rigid with something that might have been shock. Their alpha, a towering creature whose species had ruled 3 star systems through calculated intimidation, stared at the scene with all 4 of his amber eyes. "Explain," the alpha rumbled, his translator rendering the word in flat, emotionless tones that somehow still conveyed his bewilderment. Aliana glanced down at James, adjusting her arm to support his head better. He was scared. The engine recalibration made unusual sounds. I told him he could stay with me until it was done. "The human juvenile is not your offspring," the Vrex second-in-command observed, mandibles clicking in what their species used to express confusion. "No, he's not mine biologically. His parents are in engineering. But he's part of my crew, so he's my responsibility." The alpha's tail swept the floor, a gesture Aliana had learned meant deep contemplation. "You are the ship's commander, the apex authority. Yet you allow this predator spawn to sleep upon you, in a position where his teeth are mere centimeters from your throat." "He's 5 years old," Aliana said simply. "A human of 5 years has already developed canines suitable for tearing flesh, has already gained the strength to cause significant injury, has already learned the deception tactics your species employs in social warfare." The alpha stepped closer, towering over her seated position. "We Vrex do not permit our young near our throats until they have passed their 20th season and sworn the blood oath of kinship. Even then, we remain alert." Aliana smiled, a gesture. She knew the Vrex found unsettling, the baring of teeth, the display of weapons. "James won't hurt me. You cannot know this. Young predators are unpredictable. They have not yet learned the social contracts that bind adults. They act on impulse, on instinct." The alpha's claws extended slightly, not threateningly, but unconsciously. "Even we do not trust each other that much." "Maybe that's the difference," Aliana said softly, stroking James's hair as he shifted in his sleep. "Humans don't survive by trusting less. We survive by trusting more." The Vrex delegation exchanged glances, their neural crests rippling with silent communication. Finally, the alpha spoke again. "This is illogical. Trust is a calculated risk. One weighs the benefits against the potential for betrayal, for violence. To trust without calculation is to invite destruction." "Is it?" Aliana gestured to the viewport. Behind her, where the Stellar Covenant drifted in formation with a dozen other vessels, a fleet of species that had been at war with each other for centuries before humanity arrived, and somehow talked them into cooperation. "We've been traveling together for 8 months now. Has any human on this ship betrayed you?" "No," the alpha admitted. "But your species is young. You have not yet learned the proper paranoia." "We learned paranoia just fine back on Earth," Aliana said. "We had wars that nearly destroyed us. We had weapons that could glass continents. But we also had mothers who sang lullabies to babies who couldn't even understand the words yet. We had fathers who let their children fall asleep on their shoulders after long days. We built trust before we built walls." James stirred, making a small sound of contentment, and burrowed his face deeper into Aliana's uniform. She adjusted her position slightly, completely at ease with the weight on her chest, the warmth of the child against her. "When we found you," the alpha said slowly, "you were not exploring. You were fleeing. Your star system was dying, your species facing extinction. We expected desperation, violence, the behavior of cornered predators. And instead, you asked us how you could help. You offered medical knowledge, engineering expertise, cultural exchange. You brought your young aboard our vessels and allowed our young to board yours. You acted as if." The alpha paused, searching for words. "As if trust was the default, not the exception." Aliana met his four-eyed gaze steadily. "Because it is. For us, anyway. Humans don't bond through dominance displays and blood oaths. We bond through vulnerability, through letting someone see us at our weakest and trusting them not to exploit it. This child on your chest could bite me, yes, could scratch me, could hurt me in a dozen small ways. Aliana's smile turned gentle as she looked down at James's sleeping face. But he won't. Not because I'm stronger or because I've established dominance, but because I held him when he was frightened, because I told him stories about Earth before he was born, because I'm his Commander Chen, and Commander Chen makes him feel safe. The Alpha was silent for a long moment. Around them, the ship continued, its quiet operations, humans working alongside Vrex, alongside Kellorn, alongside species whose names Aliana was still learning to pronounce. The grand experiment of the Stellar Covenant, a floating demonstration that former enemies could become something more. Your species is either the bravest in the galaxy, the Alpha finally said, or the most foolish. Can't it be both? Aliana asked with a grin. The Alpha's neck crest rippled, laughter perhaps, or the Vrex equivalent. Perhaps that is why you survive, why you thrive, why species that should view you as threats instead view you as... He paused again. Friends, family. James woke then, blinking sleepy eyes and yawning to show all his small, very human teeth. He looked up at Aliana and smiled. Is it over? Can we go see the stars again? Yes, sweetheart. It's over. She helped him sit up, and he noticed the Vrex delegation for the first time. Hi, Alpha, James said brightly, waving with the unself-conscious friendliness only a 5-year-old could manage. The Alpha, apex predator of a warrior species, conqueror of systems, stared at the small human. Then, slowly, deliberately, he lowered himself closer to the ground, not quite kneeling, but reducing the height difference, making himself less threatening. Hello, James of humanity, he said, and if his claws retracted fully and his crest softened its aggressive posture, well, perhaps even ancient predators could learn new ways of being. Perhaps trust, after all, was contagious.